So, Obama got reelected a week and a day ago, and now we're really starting to learn what forward means. Forward to the unemployment line. Look at this headline from Kerry Pickett over at the Washington Times, and I quote, "Companies plan massive layoffs as Obamacare becomes reality." Remember when the CEO of Apple, Steve Jobs, said, "You're headed for a one-term presidency, Mr. Obama"? Well, he said this because Obama wasn't business-friendly enough, and now it's so much easier to open factories in China because there's less regulation and less costs, unlike the U.S. Obamacare is not the only reason companies are making layoffs, though. The slow economy is forcing companies to downside, and the looming fiscal cliff may trigger layoffs as well. This afternoon, the president met with a group of CEOs, like Jeffrey Immelt, the non-tax-paying CEO of General Electric, and Aetna's Mark Bertolini, in an effort to help him gain leverage over the fiscal cliff negotiations. Bertolini stressed that the importance of a debt deal to the Wall Street Journal just yesterday. Let me give you this quote. "The American people are going to suffer because we'll lay them off, because we know how to respond to these kinds of situations." Over 20 large and medium-sized companies have announced layoffs for the coming new year. Just to run through a few of them, this is not the total list, by the way. Bank of America, you know, the one that took the massive bailout, is in the process of eliminating 16,000 jobs this year and 30,000 by the end of next year due to declining revenues. Citigroup, another financial company, just announced it's closing an office, which amounts to about 100 employees. But it's part of a larger plan to eliminate 5,000 jobs. Then there's Dana Holdings. Well, this company should be on easy street since Obama rescued the auto industry. They're an auto parts manufacturer that employs 25,000 people, and they're going to be laying people off because Obamacare is expected to cost them $24 million over the next 4 years. Now, this is something that really ought to scare you, given the takeover of the healthcare industry. The medical device industry is also getting hit hard with a new medical device tax of 2.3% being charged to companies due to Obamacare, not to mention what it's going to cost to cover their employees. The new tax is forcing Stryker, a company that makes artificial hips, to trim 5% of its workforce. Global health services company Cigna is also restructuring and dropping 4% of its workforce, or 1,300 workers. Now, here's one I bet you would never believe is on the list. Pepsi. Pepsi, you know, the choice of a new generation, the second largest food maker, despite its high revenue, is cutting 8,700 jobs. Then there's Hostess, the Twinkie maker. Massive cuts are going to be made at Hostess if these non-Michelle Obama treats are going to live to see another day. Oh, you guys can come on and grab some if you want. We got cupcakes and Suzy Q's and donuts, and, of course, the old-fashioned American standby, the Twinkie. They filed for bankruptcy twice since 2004 because they can't come to terms with their union contract. And the list goes on and on. And that's just the companies that we know about right now. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to be heading for their nearest government benefits office, and other companies, such as grocery chain Kroger and franchise restaurant operator Darden, have announced that most of their employees are going to have their hours limited to part-time status. So much for that line about the private sector's health, Mr. President.